Hello everyone, this is Claudia here from the Bookkeeping Experts. Welcome to another tutorial on QuickBooks Online. Today we're going to talk about the profit and loss or reports, in particular the profit and loss. How can you use your profit and loss to be able to make decisions to take your business to the next level? We're going to talk about different kinds of analysis you can make and different things, different information that you can focus on your profit and loss. So without much further ado, we're going to go straight into QuickBooks Online. Okay, so here is our simple company, and we're going to show you a few things that can help you understand your profit and loss. First of all, let's talk about what is the profit and loss. The profit and loss is pretty much the picture of your business for the current accounting period. Means all the revenue minus your expense and what's your net income. There's different kinds of profit and loss in QuickBooks Online. There's the standard profit and loss that's going to show you all your income and expenses and your net profit. We also have profit and loss by tag group if you do use tags. And we have profit and loss by percentage of total income, which I use quite a bit. Okay, so you can do it by month, but you can also change it on the standard profit and loss, and I'll show you how to do that. So we're gonna click on the profit and loss here. To get there, on the left-hand side, you click reports, and then you're gonna have all your reports here. We're gonna click on the profit and loss, and this is just a standard profit and loss. So I was gonna show you for last month. If you need to change it to last year, you can just change it by clicking on the arrow here and click on Run Report. You have a couple of options in regards to accounting method. You have a cash accounting or accrual. The difference is that for cash accounting, you count the revenue and the expense when you exchange cash. Accrual is the GAAP method. Means that you're going to accrue all your expenses and your revenue. Means that the moment you provide the service or you fulfill your obligation with your client, you earn the revenue. And the moment that you obtain the expense, you're going to book the bill even though you have not actually paid for that. All right, so most of the small business will be on the cash basis. So you can change it to the cash basis and Run Report. And you can change back and forth if you'd like. Now, one thing that is very useful here, if you're looking for the current year, okay, so this year to last month, if you're looking at the current year report, I like to compare it by the month. And of course, this is what we call a horizontal analysis. Means that we're going to analyze to see if our expenses, if our revenue and expense has changed over the years. So I'm going to do it last year. This is a simple account. We don't have a whole lot for this year, so we're just going to go ahead and run it. And this report is very good because I can compare horizontally how am I doing in regards to revenue and net profit. Okay, is there a growth? And another information that I would be able to get from here is if you're seasonal business, what is the difference between the high season and the low season, and what can you do in order to increase your sales or increase your revenue during the low season? Okay, so you have the cost of goods sold and all the operation expense right after. So first we're going to have revenue. Your direct cost is the cost of goods sold. Anything that has direct impact on providing the service or those expenses, such as let's suppose you're a roofer and you buy the material for the roof, the wood, and so on and so forth. Those are cost of goods sold because it's the direct cost of providing the services you're providing. Or if you're a subcontractor, for instance, like let's suppose you have, I don't know, an event business and you hire videographer, photographers to provide the services. So those videographers and photographers, which is cost of labor, is going to be a direct cost for you to provide those services. So it is the cost of goods sold. It is important to separate the cost of goods sold from operations, because this way you can verify what is your direct cost for providing your services. On the operation side, obviously there is certain expenses that you can take a look as well, but the cost of goods sold is essential for you to understand so that you can maximize your revenue. All right. So after the cost of goods sold, you have the gross profit, means that you deduct your direct costs, but you still have operation costs. And then after that is all your operation costs. So your advertising costs, your general business costs, your interest rate, and so on and so forth, rental, and so on. So all those things that are not directly associated with providing those services. And finally, at the end, you're going to have other income and other expense. Those are things that you don't want to be showing up on your operating income. So the operating income should be just the expenses, the operating expenses, with the cost of goods sold. And then after that, you're going to have things, income and expense, that are not directly related to providing the services, such as, earnings like Discover card rewards or any kind of credit card rewards. If you have any kind of home office expense and things like that. Some people like to keep their vehicle expense as a separate expense as well, so you can track that better. And then finally, there's the net other income, and then the net income. And of course, you want to make sure that net income is a positive number, because if it is a negative number, it means that you're spending more money than what you're making. And that's not a good thing. Now, one thing that is going to help you understand your profit and loss is comparing that. This is, first of all, we're going to compare the progress of your business through the months and verify if there is a growth or a decline. And if there is a decline, what is causing the decline? If there is a growth, what's causing the growth too, so that you can keep doing those things that are helping your business grow, and stop doing or cut expenses that may be compromising your income, your net income. So those are the horizontal analysis. So that's, just you're comparing your numbers to yourself, just verifying how your business is doing through several period of accounting times. It could be, you can compare it through the years, through the months, and so on and so forth. Now, another thing that I would like to show you is the profit and loss by percentage of total income. That is a very useful report, and that's going to help you understand your financials and compare it to other companies in the same industry. This is more like a vertical analysis of your business, and of course you would need to get some kind of source of your industry numbers. Okay, and you can definitely get that information online. You can Google industry average, and you're going to be able to see some of the numbers. We know for some industries, for instance, if you're in the restaurant business and you're netting about 15%, you're doing really good, especially if you have a brick and mortar. If you have like a service company, such as, if you're a software engineer, you can see a net income as big as 95%, 90%, means that your expense is very little because you're doing a lot of the work. Now, of course, there is it's a sort of, a two-sided sword, means that if you're doing all the work, you're definitely locked to your business, and you want to make sure that your business is as independent as possible. So having expenses not necessarily a bad thing. You want to be able to spend money to make more money, right? And get to a point where your business can run by itself and you can just overlook it. All right, so taking a look at the profit and loss by percentage, you want to take a look at your total sales, and it's very important to keep an eye on the cost of goods sold. If you're in the industry, in the restaurant industry, if you're having a cost of goods sold above 30%, it means that you need to take a look at it and maybe reevaluate. And things are pretty expensive right now. A lot of restaurants are struggling with the cost of goods sold because of food prices and, of course, labor costs. Labor costs is pretty high. So, but you need to keep tabs on that number, because that number is gonna it's gonna impact a lot if you're making money or if you're losing money. All right. Other things that you need to keep an eye is the cost of your operations as well. So you want to take a look at things such as your payroll expenses and your rent expenses. Your rental cost can impact a lot if you're going to make money or not. So, of course, you want a good location if you're brick and mortar, but at the same time, you want to manage your rental expenses and any kind of expense that may be compromising your net revenue. All right, so we have different kind of costs. So your contract labor, some of your contract labor may be in operation, and some of them may be on your direct cost or cost of goods sold. So you're gonna have to divide that depending on what you do. So if you're a construction company, you definitely want to put your contract laborers and your labor cost that is directly associated with your services on the very top, so you can verify what's your cost of goods sold. All right, so one thing that this report is very useful. It helps with the percentage. It helps us understand what is the greatest impact expenses on my profit and loss, and I can see that contract labor is pretty high here. So basically 79% of my income is going towards contract labor. So that can definitely be too high, and sometimes it can mean that maybe the expense is duplicated and you want to take a look at that. Or maybe it's because you need to become more efficient with your workforce. And unfortunately not cut jobs. We don't want to cut jobs, but we definitely want to maximize your workforce so that it's not going to represent too big of a percentage of your expenses. Okay, insurance costs. Insurance costs is pretty high right now, so you want to keep tab on that. So right here, obviously, this is a simple company. It's not representing the real cost, but you definitely want to keep an eye on that, and everything else as well. So by having the percentage here, you're able to locate those expenses that are outside the parameters that needs to be checked to see if it's really true, and if it is true, what can you do in order to improve. So that's a very, very good report, and you can actually make it, you can compare it by months as well. So same thing, you just under the display column by, you can click here and just click on months, and then you can run the horizontal analysis by percentage as well. So you can see each month what is the variation. And this is very important, especially for the cost of goods sold. You want to verify if there is an increase or if it is steady. You want your cost of goods sold not to have too much of an increase or not too much fluctuation. You want it to be spread equally throughout the months. Now, if you if you do categorize your inventory as cost of goods sold at first, you may have like a skewed report. Means that when you're actually buying your supplies, your cost of goods sold, you may see like a big expense in 1 month, and maybe you're buying for 2-3 months. What you want to do with that is actually spread that equally through the months. Now, of course, if you have a source of an inventory management app or something like that, and you have more accurate information, you want to be able to do a journal entry and spread that expense through the months. Okay, so that's the best way for you to do that. This way you're going to understand exactly what's going on with your business instead of just seeing everything at once. Another expense that should be spread through the months that is valid is prepaid insurance. So if you're prepaying your insurance, you want to make sure that you put that balance in prepaid insurance or prepaid expense, and then spread that expense through the months. With the cost of goods sold, I said you can actually put it on inventory and then bring it to cost of goods sold as you accrue the expenses, instead of just categorizing everything under cost of goods sold. This way you have a better idea of how your business is actually doing. Because if it's all skewed, let's suppose you buy supply every 3 months, 1 month it's going to be, your income is going to be very low, and the other months it might be really high, but it's not really reflecting what's going on with your business. So you want to make sure that you spread that equally through the months, or not equally through the months, according to what you are actually spending. Having an inventory management app is very useful. So I would recommend that instead of just categorizing everything that you buy into cost of goods sold. All right. Okay, so this is just a little sample of the profit and loss and a few things that you can do. We did talk about tags before. We have a video that talks about tags, and also profit and loss by class as well. So if you're keeping, if you're managing, or if you're adding tags to your QuickBooks Online, and you want to verify, for instance, what's your sales staff revenue, you can go ahead and run it by tag group. I have a video on that. You want to take a look at that. And then in order to verify your report, you're just going to go into profit and loss by tag. Very good tool, or classes. We have more videos and more material on the subject. You can check that out. I'm going to go ahead and put that down for you. But basically, profit and loss, those are some of the things you can do. You can also, if you go to the standard profit and loss, you can customize a lot of things here. So basically creating a more customizable information that you were looking for. If you click on customize, and you just click on the down arrow here, filter, you can actually see the reports by customer. You can isolate one of the customers if you want to take a look at what's your revenue per customer based on a specific customer or multiple customer. You can do your expenses by vendor. So there's several things that you can do in order to customize your report according to your needs. Okay. All right, so I can talk about the profit and loss for a long time, but the bottom line is that we want you to use it to take your business, and I'm going to be back here, okay? We want to use that information so that you can take your business to the next level. A few things to keep in mind is that, of course, that in order to use your reports to increase your business, you want to make sure that the information in those reports are correct. In order for you to make sure it is correct, you want to analyze first that all transactions are properly categorized. You can take a look at the profit and loss, and if you see any expense that it seems to be a little off, you can click on that the report. It's going to open up with all the transactions, and you'll be able to change those categorization right there. Another thing that you may want to do for sure is to make sure that after you categorize all transactions, that you reconcile your bank account, reconcile your credit cards, reconcile all your liabilities and your assets as well. For the liability, you want to make sure that whatever needs to go from your payment, whatever needs to go to principal goes to principal, and whatever goes to interest expense needs to go to interest expense or bank fees or whatever you are paying. So, all right. So hopefully this was useful. If you like this content, I want you to subscribe to our channel. Just a small percentage of you subscribe to our channel, and it helps us a lot if you can subscribe. So just click on the button subscribe. We promise to bring to you the most updated information on QuickBooks Online, so you can stay up to date with your books and with your clients. And also we promise you that we're going to go ahead and get better and better and bring videos that are very, very meaningful to what you need. For this reason, I also need your help. If you have any comments or if you want us to cover a certain subject, write down below. And we're going to go ahead and cover that in the future. Also share with your friends, share with your coworkers. We want to help as many people as possible. I absolutely love what I do. Today, for instance, I met with a client and he expressed how grateful he was for the help, and that makes my day. That's exactly why I do what I do. I want to make sure that you get all that information so you can succeed on your business. Either you're an accountant, you're a bookkeeper, or a business owner, that you're going to be able to use this information and take it to the next level. Thanks for watching. I will be back in a few days. We are doubling the amount of videos. So we want to see you more. We want to bring more content. I'll see you next time. Subscribe. And until next time, keep on smiling.